At timeanddate.com, we look up into the sky. We bring you exclusive footage from eclipses worldwide. We take our mobile observatory to where the action happens.
Hi, Stefan.
Hi, Anna. It's a real pleasure to welcome you at the Guyana Space Center, the Europe Spaceport.
We collaborate with experts and observatories across the globe to bring you the best view of celestial events. We explain how and show why it all happens while answering your questions during our live broadcast events. Find your home and even more details on our website while you wait. So join us next time on timeanddate.com.
Go to live? Okay. You just count us in. Welcome. We're finally in Argentina.
Hey, here we are. And, well, you know, Anna, every now and then, about every 18 months, the Earth, the Moon, and the Sun, they line up in such a way as to produce one of the most spectacular phenomena in the solar system, a total solar eclipse.
And we had to go all the way to beautiful Hachal in Argentina to find it.
That's right. Now, we were here about 2 years ago for the last total solar eclipse. That was a real attention seeker. It took place coast to coast across the United States of America. Today's eclipse is a lot harder to track. Yeah. It mostly takes place over the South Pacific Ocean. It's just the very, very end of the eclipse happens over Chile and Argentina. And that's why we are sitting here in the very late afternoon sunshine.
It's very hot. It's 32 degrees Celsius. So
that's right. We're in the winter here in Argentina, but it's a very hot day. The sun is starting to get very low, very close to the horizon, because we are nearly at the end of today's eclipse. It started over 2 hours ago in the South Pacific, and it will be starting here in South America in around about 10-15 minutes time. The partial phase will be starting in South America.
And so we're here on a rooftop in a smallish city, 30,000 people in Argentina, waiting for the sun to be eclipsed.
That's it. We're actually sitting on the roof of the town hall in San Jose de Hachal.
In San Juan province.
It's in the San Juan province. We are tucked up right up against the Andes mountains, and it's a wonderful, it's a lovely town we're in, and we've had some fabulous support from the local government here. We're sitting on the roof of the town hall. We have our telescopes lined up just next to where we're sitting here. That's what's bringing us this beautiful picture of the sun as we see it. And we do have to say a very big thank you to the local government in San Jose de Hachal, who have given us great support and enabling us to bring you these
beautiful images,
these great live pictures here.
So we're going to look a bit more at the live pictures, and we'll get back to you.
Okay, here we are back. And, well, Anna, here in San Jose de Hachal, things are going to start happening in about 2 minutes' time. Now, we said before that overall, this eclipse started worldwide about 2.5 hours ago. It started in the South Pacific Ocean. But here from our location in Argentina, things are happening in about 2 minutes' time. That is the beginning of the partial phase of the eclipse.
And what will we see then, Graham?
Well, this is when the moon will start the process of covering the sun, and what we'll see at the beginning is just a very, very tiny bite, just the smallest chink in the disk of the sun where the moon is starting to eat away the sun. And that's going to be happening in about 1 or 2 minutes. The moon is approaching from about the 7 o'clock position on the face of the sun. So as we are looking at this picture of the sun here, the eclipse is going to start down in that bottom left hand side of the sun, about the 7 o'clock position. We will initially see just the very smallest bite, and the sun suddenly will lose that perfect round shape. There'll be this very small bite, and then over the next 1 hour and 15 minutes, that bite will just get bigger and bigger as the moon starts to cover more and more of the sun, until in about 1 hour and 15 minutes, the whole of the sun will disappear and be swallowed up by the moon.
And can everybody see this?
So now this is the catch.
Yeah.
With a solar eclipse, you have to be in exactly the right place to see this. Now for the partial phase of the eclipse, that you can see over quite a large area. So in many parts of South America today, in Uruguay, in Brazil, Paraguay, Bolivia, people will be able to see a partial solar eclipse. But to see totality, where the sun gets completely covered, that's just happening across a very, very narrow strip of land. It's only about 140 kilometers wide, and it's going across the center of Chile and Argentina. So to see totality, to see the sun completely disappear, you have to be in this very, very narrow band.
How narrow is it?
So it's about 140 kilometers across. So we are somewhere near the midpoint of that. From our location here, we're going to see just under 2 minutes of totality. At the very center of the band, it is possible to get up to 2.5 minutes of totality.
But no internet connection there.
Of course, for us, the challenge has been finding the location where within the path of totality, but also making sure we can get a place to set up our equipment and start and broadcast these pictures. Now, actually, Anna, if we have a look at the sun now, I think we can...
There's a little dent down there, isn't there?
I think we are starting to see, that first little dent. So around about the 7 o'clock position on the sun, that is the moon starting to eat away the sun.
And we're going to let you enjoy this beautiful view of the moon eating away at the sun. You can go to timeanddate.live and check our blog posts there for more information about solar eclipses and about what we're doing here. And you can also see we've got another screen up. We have 2 different telescopes feeds from the same sun, hoping to show you some more details closer to the totality. Thank you very much. See you again soon. Yeah. Okay. Okay,
Ready?
yes, we're ready.
Okay. I'm switching view in 3, 2, 1, now.
3, 2, 1. And welcome. We're back.
We're back, enjoying the early stages of this total solar eclipse in San Jose de Hachal in Argentina.
And we are experiencing a 10-second delay. It's far from Argentina to Norway.
Right. Okay. So the time and date operations center up there in Norway, and yes, there is quite a delay
Yeah.
in getting the signals and the pictures from here all the way across to Norway.
So if you feel like we're kind of jumping in the middle of a sentence, that's what's happening, and we're trying to figure out how to sort it out. But we're just happy that we're showing you beautiful images of this partial solar eclipse at the moment, and it's going to turn into a total one. And by the looks of it, we're going to be able to see that too.
That's right. So in about 1 hour and 5 minutes, the moon will have moved across the whole of the sun's surface. So this partial phase of the eclipse has, another 1 hour and 5 minutes to run before totality starts.
But if you're not watching us on the screen and you're actually watching the sun, like we've got the sun. That's why we have our caps on, so that it doesn't harm us too much. We've got some very special equipment.
We have now, Anna. Just before we came back live, you were wearing something very fetching indeed,
Yes,
and then you took it off because you think it doesn't look good on you, but I think it does. I think you should.
Well, let me just get it on.
Okay, there we go.
Oh. I can't see anything now because I'm not looking at the sun.
Okay.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So right. So these are, of course, the eclipse viewers, and if you are anywhere in South America today, enjoying the partial eclipse, then you must use proper solar filters to look at the sun. And this is obviously a very important safety message, and we want to be extremely clear about this, that we should never look at the sun directly without using the proper protection for our eyes.
I think you should try them on. I think you're going to look awesome with them. And this is something you can do. You can share your glasses with whoever you're with. Everybody doesn't have to have a pair each.
In fact, it's very good practice to share your eclipse glasses. These eclipse glasses, they're not designed to just put on your face and to just spend 1.5 hours staring at the sun. That's not good for your eyes. These are designed to be used for a few seconds at a time, to put them on, to make sure your eyes are covered, to look up at the sun, to just enjoy looking at that growing bite out of the sun, and then just look away again and share the glasses with your friends.
I can take them back.
You can
have them
back.
The sun again.
You can have them back, and
and it's looking amazing. It's really weird to look at that moon eating its way into the sun.
It is one of the strangest things to look at. Now, of course, if we didn't have these eclipse glasses, I mean, looking around here, there's absolutely no difference in light levels yet. No. The interesting thing with eclipses is that you don't really notice that an eclipse is happening until we get to about 15 minutes before totality, when about 80% of the sun has been covered. Wow. That's when we actually start to notice real differences in the light levels on the ground and the temperature on the ground. But right now, unless we are looking at the sun with these solar glasses, we have absolutely no idea that anything special is happening in the sky right now.
But we do have some props. Is it too early for them?
It's not too early, but there's just a couple more things we probably should just say about the eclipse glasses.
Yes.
as Anna said, of course, you have to make sure that they do cover our eyes completely before looking at the sun. If you are with any small children, then of course it's very important to make sure that they are using the Eclipse glasses properly. So please do pay attention to any young people that are with you. Make sure that they are proper, officially approved Eclipse glasses, and that means looking for the quality mark printed on the glasses, the ISO mark or the CE quality mark, to show that they are officially certified Eclipse glasses. It's also good to give them a quick check to make sure there are no scratches or there's no damage to the glasses. If you are in any doubt as to whether, if you're in any doubt as to whether there's some damage or to whether they are officially certified glasses, then just throw them away.
What can happen?
Well, the thing is that our eyes, the retina in our eye, has no pain receptors. So if anything is happening, if any damage is being caused to our retina,
We don't notice it.
we don't notice anything at all. And any problems don't become apparent until later, when the damage is done. And the damage is that the sun's rays are burning the retina, and that is permanent damage. So if you are in any doubt about using Eclipse glasses, then don't just throw them away if you have any doubts about them.
Good.
And the final point is, these are not designed to be used with optical devices like telescopes and binoculars. For those, you need specialist solar filters fitted on the front sun-facing end of the instrument. They need their own specialist filters. These are just for using with the eyes.
And the same thing that happens to our eyes will happen to your optical equipment, because it will burn it inside, it will melt it. It will concentrate the light, make it really hot, and burn it inside.
That's right. It can destroy your camera. Of course, then you can buy a new camera, of course. But I mean, of course, if that happens with your eyes, then we only have one pair of eyes. Yes. So that's.
I'm excited about my props, or your props. We have some more very highly specialized equipment, expensive and difficult to find, right?
That's right. So, if you don't have a pair of Eclipse glasses, then another way to enjoy the eclipse is by projecting an image of the sun onto a blank surface, onto, for example, a piece of card. And very simply, you can... Well, first of all, you can just take a piece of card. You can put a hole in the card. You can project the image of the sun through the hole onto a second piece of card, and you will be able to see the bite into the sun projected onto the card. But you can in fact use any kind of holes at all. And Anna, what have you got there?
This is the highly specialized equipment. It's a colander.
Okay, a colander which is full of holes, and we haven't practiced this yet, actually.
Not with a delay, but we're going to try.
Right, I thought we were going to practice this first, but we're now actually going to practice it live.
Yes.
So you need to hold up that colander there. I'm going to bring up the card here. Now we do have this delay as well, so we're just going to have to wait to have a look and see how we're lining things up on the screen.
Is it working? Can you see it?
Okay, we might just move the whole thing slightly closer to the screen.
There you go. Can you see the holes? Yep. So what happens is that the holes change shape.
The holes change shape. Instead of seeing a circular hole, you're actually seeing the shape of the sun. Now, I have no idea how well that worked on the screen for people watching this.
But you just have to hold it up against the light and see the light project through. So you see the shadow and then you see the holes, and they'll.
That's
Yeah.
right. This is pinhole projection. So you're actually looking at the image of the sun projected onto the card, and instead of seeing the perfect circle, you're seeing the circle with a bite taken out of it.
And you can also see this under trees, right?
It works with any kind of holes.
Yeah.
So holes in colanders or holes between leaves on the trees. And if you look down at the shadows that are being cast by leaves, you can see, especially much later in the partial phase, you can see crescent shaped shadows as the sun becomes more and more of a crescent shape as the eclipse continues.
And that's definitely something to look out for while someone else is using your eclipse glasses.
That's something, absolutely, exactly.
Okay, well, on that note, we're going to let people go and find their colanders and their cardboard paper and their glasses and continue to watch the eclipse.
Sounds good.
Join us on timeanddate.live. There's more information there, and you can share your pictures on Time and Date Live. See you later. on an expedition? Good. Okay, you count us in and we'll just turn on the talking machine. Three, two, one. Welcome. We're back.
Here we are back, and well, things are happening here in San Jose de Hachal. Now, we talked before about the effects of this eclipse don't really become noticeable until about 80% of the sun has been covered. And as we're seeing on the screen now, we're still in the early stages of this eclipse. We have over half an hour to go until totality. Having said that, this is a late afternoon eclipse, which means that the sun is going down in the sky. And just as we look at it, just going down towards the mountain, we can see it getting closer and closer down towards the Andes. There's also very interesting things going on with the wind.
Yep. I'm getting dressed now.
You're getting dressed because the temperature is falling. When we started talking to you, the temperature was up around 32 degrees. The temperature has now gone down to 24.5 degrees. So some of this is because the sun is getting lower. There is an interesting effect with the wind in this part of the world. Today we've had a very strong wind here that they call the sonda. It's a wind that starts in the South Pacific. It blows in across Chile. It's a wet wind. It drops lots of moisture on the Chilean side of the Andes. But then the wind continues over the mountains into the San Juan province where we are. But it's now a very dry and a very warm wind. And all day when we've been here on the rooftop setting up, we've kind of been battling this very strong but very warm and very dry wind. That wind, that sonda wind, has now stopped, and we are actually now getting a breeze from the opposite direction, which is a much cooler breeze, and that's all contributing to a drop in the temperature. We're also, of course, expecting a drop in the temperature due to the eclipse as well, and of course that part of the temperature drop is going to come into play in a little while as more of the sun disappears. But things are changing. The
really
atmosphere is changing here.
Definitely. And we also have a cool little map that we've been showing you a bit, and it shows where the moon is actually covering the sun. Well, the sun is in front of the moon at the moment, but what are we actually looking at there, Graham? It looks like a fried egg.
Right. Well, we've really got two important things happening on this map. The first thing is that this is a day and night map. So about half of the map is a light color, and about half of the map is a dark color. The dark color is where it's nighttime. The light color is where it's daytime. And as we look at the map, that dark nighttime area is slowly shifting to the left. It's slowly shifting towards the west. And the boundary between the dark area and the light area, that is where sunset is happening. That is where the sun is going down. So over the South Atlantic Ocean, the sun is going down below the horizon, and the day is turning into night. Now, on the left-hand side of the map, we also have these orange and red colors. Now, this is showing us something completely different. This is where the moon's shadow is on the surface of the Earth. Now, there's two parts to the moon's shadow. There's a lighter outer part to the shadow, and then there's the dark inner part. The dark inner part is called the umbra. And this is where you need to be to see totality, to see the sun be completely covered by the moon. Now, as we look at the map, we've got that very light outer yellow area. That's where there's a very small partial eclipse happening. So over large parts of southern Brazil, that's covered in that light yellow shading. That's a small partial eclipse. We then move on to a darker, slightly more orangey color, and that's including Argentina and Chile and where we are here in San Jose de Hachal. That's where we have a deeper partial eclipse, just as we can see on our live pictures of the sun. Then we have a red circle. At the moment, this is over the Pacific Ocean. It's moving towards South America. That red circle is telling us where there's a 90% eclipse within that red circle. And then in the middle of that red circle, and we can't see it on our screen here because on our screen the picture is too small. But if you get very close to that map, inside that red circle, you will see a very small brown dot. And that is the umbra. That is the very darkest part of the moon's shadow. It's only about 140 kilometers across, so it hardly shows up at all on our map. That's where you have to be to see totality. And that darkest spot, the umbra, that will be reaching the coast of South America in 25 minutes. And it will actually cross South America very quickly. In fact, it crosses South America in about 6 minutes.
Wow.
From the time it hits the coast of Chile at a city called La Serena, it rushes across Chile, across the Andes, into Argentina. It rushes off almost to the Atlantic coast, but just before it reaches the Atlantic coast, sunset is rushing up from the other direction, and the two things meet just south of Buenos Aires, the Argentinian capital, just before totality reaches the Atlantic coast. And that's the end of the total eclipse. So the whole thing in South America, the whole total eclipse, lasts 6 minutes in total as that darkest spot, the umbra, rushes across the southern cone of South America.
That's kind of hard to imagine and think about, but
it's right. It's one of those things. It's very difficult to
picture it.
Right. And if you are in any one spot in South America, I mean, the most totality you can see in any one place is about 2.5 minutes.
Yes.
As that umbra rushes over your head.
Yeah.
Where we are here in San Jose de Hachal, we're going to have just under 2 minutes because we're not quite in the center of that path of totality. But yes, and this is, well, as I said, this will all be happening in 25 minutes or so.
I think you better get your jacket on. I think it's going to get dark.
But you know, it's getting colder and colder all the time. As we look at the sun now, the eclipse is growing and getting bigger and bigger. The sun is now taking on a crescent shape. I mean, it's looking very much like the moon.
It does. And if you found your colander and your piece of paper, I think soon you can actually see the crescents go under trees and
oh, absolutely. If you're doing any pinhole projection now, you'll be able to see a very nice crescent shaped sun, because we are now getting a very a lovely crescent shape of the sun.
So we're going to leave you to enjoy it. We'll be back. Make sure to check us out on timeanddate.live to see more images and blog posts there with information about the solar eclipse. And if you take any photos, hashtag them timeanddate.live, and we might share them on our blog. Thank you very much. 3, 2, 1. And we're back. Hey Graham, it's getting colder, isn't it?
It's getting colder. So again, we started off at about 32
Yeah.
degrees
Yeah.
at the beginning of this program. We are now down to 19.5 degrees. So that's quite a temperature drop there.
Yeah. And it feels like the sun's gone down, but it hasn't.
Right. It's now noticeably darker. Also,
Yeah.
the quality of the light.
Yeah.
It's a much thinner kind of light now, because we are now just 10 minutes away from totality. So now this is really where we start to feel the effects of things. So the darkening, the quality of the light, it just feels a very strange kind of sunlight that we're sitting in.
And I'm feeling very excited because we're going to see some fantastic things, aren't we?
Right. So the key highlights to watch out for at totality. So about the sun gets a thinner and thinner crescent until about 15 seconds before totality begins. There's two things that happen. One is that the solar corona starts to come into view. This is the sun's outer atmosphere. We normally can't see it because the sun itself is so bright that we never see the corona. The corona is a kind of a sort of a ghostly shimmer that's surrounding the sun.
The stream stopped, so we have to just wait. Which Catherine, which one stopped? The whole thing? We might be experiencing some technical problems. I got some messages on my end. We just, I guess, just wait and listen and see what happens. We don't have us. Okay. Do you want us in again? Just to say what happened? Just to explain? I can see us on the screen. We're back? We're back?
Okay, so we'll do the same thing.
Okay, we're back up?
Countdown to 3 or countdown to 1.
Yep. 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, no, it's just
And
countdown.
3, 2, 1. Well, we had some issues there, fortunately, before totality.
Okay. So we're now about 7 minutes away from totality. The key features to look out for about 15 seconds before totality: the solar corona, a sort of a ghostly shimmer around the sun comes into view. Also, the crescent sun gets thinner and thinner until about 15 seconds before totality. There's one final brilliant jewel of sunlight that we can see, and this jewel of sunlight, together with the solar corona surrounding the sun, this gives us the effect of a diamond ring in the sky. That's about 15 seconds before totality. The final stage before totality begins, about 5 seconds before totality begins, we then have Bailey's beads. And this is the very, very final beads of sunlight that we can see coming to us through the valleys on the edge of the moon. And that's just the very, very final beads of sunlight until all of the sun disappears and then totality has begun.
And then we see it all again after 2.5 bit minutes.
And then here in San Jose de Hachal, we have 1 minute, 56 seconds
Yeah.
of totality. Now, of course, Anna, you and I have some work to do
Yep.
during totality
Yep.
because the solar corona is much dimmer
Yeah.
than the sun itself. So
Yeah.
we have to do things with changing filters on our telescopes
Yes.
in order to bring the solar corona images to our live stream.
And one last thing, you can actually take your glasses off during totality to see it, because it gets too dark to see it through the glasses, right?
That's right. So the solar corona, it's about as bright as a full moon.
Yeah.
And of course, it's perfectly safe
Yeah.
to look at the full moon
Yeah.
without eye protection. So the solar corona is safe to look at without eclipse glasses, but that's only after the diamond ring. That's
Yeah.
only after the last of Bailey's beads has winked out, until totality has completely started and there's no shaft of sunlight visible at all. That's when we can take off the eclipse glasses and enjoy the solar corona, which we can only see during the moments of totality, because the rest of the time it's impossible to see because of the sun itself.
So we're going to leave you with that. Everything's changing now. The birds are flying around. The street lights are coming on. It's feeling really weird here, and we're going to take advantage of the wind. You guys look at the screen, and we will be back after totality.
See you on the other side.
Are we okay on the screen? Yeah? Three, two, one, and we're back.
Phew.
Wow. You've seen a total solar eclipse before, but I haven't, and I was not prepared for that.
Right, and that was a fabulous total eclipse.
I'm still shaking a bit. It's
And
just,
yeah, you had the most wonderful reaction to that, Anna. Along with
Yeah.
I think everybody around us here, we
Yeah.
were hearing lots of great shouts
Yeah.
from the people in the center
Yeah.
of the town here.
the birds were going bananas.
The birds were everywhere. The birds were flapping all over the place. The dogs were
Yeah.
barking. I mean, really, the whole town, the center. We're right here on the roof of the town hall,
Oh, yeah.
in the middle of the town, and the whole town kind of went bananas
Yeah.
during Totality.
Yeah. And it feels like, and it's gone. And then it's 2 minutes. 2 minutes, it can be quite long.
Well, it was 1 minute 56
Yeah.
seconds, which sounds like a long time,
Yeah.
but it absolutely just goes in a flash.
Yeah.
And that is, of course, what people always say at the end of Totality.
Yeah.
It just went in a flash.
Yeah. And yeah, I still kind of have problems catching my breath. It's just, yeah.
Which is
So I'll let you talk.
which is just how it should be.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And also, I mean, one of the first things that you said, Anna,
Yeah.
after Totality was just imagine what people's
Yeah.
reactions would have been, all those years ago,
Yeah.
when people didn't know that the eclipse was coming, didn't know what was happening.
Didn't have glasses to look up at the sun with and see that it was happening.
Right, and again, for the first hour or so of the partial phase,
Yeah.
we were sitting here, very happily, not being aware of any changes in the brightness of the sun. It's only in that, from about 15 minutes before Totality, you start to notice changes in the light levels, and then the darkness really comes in.
Yeah.
Really just in the seconds before Totality. The whole thing is compressed into a very short period. So if you don't know it's coming, 1 minute you are there in a field, working on your crops, and literally it's the end of the world.
Yeah.
suddenly happening.
It was for those birds. They were going crazy. They did not know what was going on, and they were flapping about over our heads.
Yeah.
And the temperature went down.
Right.
Oh.
So the temperature went down to about 13, 14
Yeah.
degrees
Yeah.
in Totality. It's now climbed up
Yeah, just a little bit.
again. So yes, we noticed a big drop, a further drop in temperature
Yeah.
during Totality, and yeah.
Yeah, you have to talk. It's just, I don't have words for it. It's truly magical, and I was listening to the studio, and they were umming and ahhing about it and going wow on my ear as well. So it was a lot of activity and craziness going on, and yeah.
Right, and certainly, and again, as we said, we were hearing lots of gasps and reactions from the people here in the center of the town. The solar corona, when you see it, it is so difficult to describe what it's like. It's really unlike anything else that you've ever seen. And when you see it for just those few moments of Totality, it really does take the breath away, and it really people do have a very emotional reaction to that. It's a wonderful thing to behold.
And now it's done.
Well, now it's done. If we turn our attention back to our map on the screen there, before we were looking at that very, very small dark dot, which was totality,
Yeah.
that was the umbra, that was the darkest part of the moon's shadow. Well, that has now left the Earth. It no longer shows up on our map.
Yeah.
All we are left with now is the partial eclipse, which is covering more or less the whole of South America
Yeah.
at the moment. So, yeah, most people in South America now having a partial eclipse, but rushing in from the east, we can see the darkness there. That's the nighttime rushing in. It's just reaching the coast of Brazil out in the Atlantic. The sun is starting to set there. Now we are in Argentina. We're actually quite close to the Pacific Ocean. However, the sun will be setting
Very
quite soon
Yeah.
for us, in around about 14 minutes, because we are pushed up against the mountains,
Yes.
against the Andes. So for us, the sun is going to be disappearing down behind the mountains in about 14 minutes time. Although if the mountains weren't there, we would still have another 25 minutes or so of sun. It's just that we have these enormous 6,000 meter mountains.
And we're even about 1,200 meters up, I think.
That's right. In San Jose de Hacha itself is up at 1,200 meters.
Oh, excuse me.
Bless you.
I've been sneezing all day, so we got that live as well.
Yes, we have another 12 or 13 minutes of the partial phase of the eclipse that we can bring you from our telescopes here in San Jose de Hacha. And then we will be able to show you the sunset. Hopefully we can switch to our wider angle camera and we can show you the sun disappearing behind the Andes, and for us that really will be the end of the eclipse for us. Although it still has another 25 minutes or so to run until the eclipse has actually finished for the whole of South America.
Okay. Well, we'll leave you with a little bit more partial, and go to timeanddate.live for more information. Share your pictures. #timeanddate.live. See you soon. It's touching the mountains now, so just get us in. Three, two, one. And we're back again.
We're back, and we are almost at sunset.
Yeah.
For us here, the sun is just about to,
touching.
to touch the top of the
Yeah.
of the Andes Mountains that we're looking towards there, and that will be the end of our live pictures of the sun, of course. So our telescope image of the sun will also start to disappear behind the mountains as well. Of course, and those will be our final pictures of the sun from this eclipse.
Yeah. But what an eclipse it has been.
Well, that has been a fantastic eclipse. The temperature, by the way, is just about getting back up to almost 17 degrees. So even though now the sun is sinking, the temperature is actually going up as the sun is uncovered by the moon. So everything very topsy-turvy today.
Yeah, very confusing.
Absolutely.
And but it doesn't end here, does it, Graham? We've got some other things happening.
Well, that's true. So today is a new moon. In fact, a total solar eclipse is the only time that we can really see the actual new moon as it sits there in front of the sun. Now, of course, in 2 weeks' time, there will be a full moon. And because at the moment the Earth, the Moon, and the Sun are in this alignment, then in 2 weeks' time, when it's a full moon, we will have another eclipse, which will be a lunar eclipse, a partial lunar eclipse happening on July 16 and 17, and this is visible across most of the world except North America. But the rest of the world will be able to see a partial lunar eclipse on the 16th and 17th of July.
And you don't have to stand in the tiny little shadow. You can be on the night side of the Earth, right?
That's right. The great thing about a lunar eclipse is that it's very relaxed, and anybody on the nighttime side of the Earth who can look up and see the full moon can see the eclipse happening.
You just have to go to time and date and find the times for it.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Ooh.
Now, Anna, just having a look at the pictures of our sun here, we can now see the tops of the mountains there, and the sun. The eclipsed sun is disappearing
That just
behind the mountains, and that is a very unique view of the sun.
That just looks amazing. It just...
If you showed that image to somebody without telling them what it was,
They wouldn't know.
They wouldn't know what that was. But there it is. There is the sun, eclipsed at the top with the round moon, and eclipsed at the bottom with the jagged peaks of the Andes Mountains.
And we can just watch it go.
And just before our eyes,
Yeah.
it's just sinking now behind the mountains. And that is a very breathtaking view of the sun as it sets behind the Andes here in South America. An eclipsed sunset.
That's a first for me again.
Another first today.
There's quite a few.
Right, that's absolutely. Yes, yes.
Is it first for you?
That is my first eclipsed sunset.
Good.
As well. Yes, that's a very unique thing. That's a great thing to see.
Yeah. And there it goes. Goodbye, sun. It was nice to meet you.
So the partial eclipse, the partial eclipse continues in other parts of South America. Obviously, for us now here, it's all finished behind the mountains. We have the partial lunar eclipse happening in 2 weeks.
Yep. We will be streaming that, but not with you and I. We get to have a break.
Okay, right. We're just going to be looking at the images for that one.
Yes.
Following that, later this year, on November the 11th, there is another impressive astronomical event happening. This is nothing to do with the moon. This is a transit of Mercury. This is where the planet Mercury, from our viewpoint here on the Earth, will appear to transit, to cross the face of the sun.
Can we see that with eclipse glasses?
That you cannot see with eclipse glasses because Mercury is just too small and it's too far away. So for that, you do need a proper solar telescope. That is a telescope equipped with all of the proper specialist solar filters.
And we are hoping to stream that one too.
Right.
Yeah.
So that one is a difficult one to see for yourself because you do need you do need to have the proper solar telescope with the proper solar filters. So if there is an astronomy club, you may be able to see it with them, but you will absolutely be able to see it.
Timeanddate.live.
Timeanddate.live, exactly. So that's November the 11th, a 5.5 hour transit of Mercury across the face of the sun.
We've got to find a lot of things to talk about.
For 5.5 hours.
Yeah, we'll leave people alone for a while. And then in December, there's another eclipse.
In December, there is another solar eclipse. This is an annular solar eclipse, a little bit different from today's total solar eclipse. An annular eclipse happens when the Earth, the Moon, and the Sun, they line up just as they have today. But for an annular eclipse, the Moon is slightly further away from the Earth. Because it's further away, it's a little bit smaller in the sky, and it's actually too small to cover the Sun completely. So we have this ring of fire effect, where we can see the dark moon in the middle of the sun, surrounded by the edge of the sun. Yeah, a ring of fire annular eclipse. That is happening on December 26th.
Yeah.
And annularity, where we can see this ring shape, that is visible from Saudi Arabia,
Yeah.
moving across India, Singapore, and that eclipse will be ending out in the Pacific near the island of Guam.
Okay.
So that's December 26th, the next solar eclipse.
So if anyone's jealous about our experience, they better get their butts down to these countries.
Right, okay, and of course, the details for all of these transits and eclipses, lunar eclipses, solar eclipses,
timeanddate.com.
it's all that timeanddate.com
Yeah.
has got all the information for your town or city.
Yeah.
You can type in your location, and you can get a list of all the eclipses that are coming up for the next 100 years or more.
Yeah. And we want to cover them all. Yeah. We might come back with another rerun of the eclipse. And
Okay.
then end off by watching that. So we'll be back soon.
Okay.
See you later. Ready to get some clothes on.
Alright, I'm cutting to play in
3, 2, 1. And we're back.
We're back, and Anna, we've just been watching the replays of Totality there, and I didn't know that we'd actually caught so many birds on our pictures there, and that is. I think that really gives people a great taste of just the craziness that was going on here during Totality, with dogs barking, birds flapping all over the place.
Me going,
That too. Yes, it really was an action-packed 2 minutes here. Yes.
Yeah. We're pretty much at the end of our transmission, aren't we, Graham?
Well, it is now starting to get dark because the sun has disappeared behind the mountains. We need to get all our equipment
down.
We're up here on the roof of the town hall in San Jose de Jachal. And we've got the telescopes, the cameras, everything set up here on the roof. We've got to get this all packed up and taken down, and it's starting to get dark, so we should probably get started.
Yeah, and then
say
goodbye.
Then I think it's time to say goodbye.
But do make sure you tune in on the 16th to the 17th of July for the partial lunar eclipse. We will be streaming that images from that eclipse without you and I, but I think we've deserved a break.
We can just enjoy watching the pictures.
But in the meantime, timeanddate.com, we've got lots of astronomy stuff. We've got night sky animations where you can go in and look up at the night sky, what it will look like from your location, where you can go in and watch future eclipses, animations of future eclipses. There's a lot of fun stuff to play around with on Time and Date.
Tools on meteor showers. We've got a planet finder where you can find out where the planets are now and how far the planets are from the Earth at this moment.
Moon phases, sun going up, sun going down.
There you go.
Everything you want to know about the sky.
Absolutely.
Okay, until next time. Then we'll say goodbye.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye.